estimated participants, organizers, guests. It is a great honor to be participating to the China International Import-Export 2022. ICDSA is participating with a stand where we will show to our friends and partners the possibilities of the newest technologies that can be used to prevent and to resolve natural or man-made disasters, but also to promote progress and well-being to the future generations. The pandemic has shown to the world that we must work together in the same direction by bringing the unique contribution that our knowledge allows us. ICDCA has created the first e-commerce platform which is entirely dedicated to B2B business to support the structures working to the population protection and civil defense. Artemis is the only marketplace where it will be possible to sell and buy everything that can be used to prevent disasters, save human lives and the planet, and to rebuild after the disaster. We are sure that this new instrument will be contributing to export Chinese technologies to the world and bring more technologies to China. We invite all to participate to join our marketplace Artemis, to participate in this way to a modern and efficient economy of the future. The sustainable development is always our concern, as initiated by the United Nations. The disaster prevention and monitoring is the best practice of sustainable development. I here also congratulate our partners on the establishing of the International Civil Defense Import-Export Youth SDGs Action Union, which will gather the global young entrepreneurs to follow the idea of sustainable development. And I hope more and more people will join our union and make a better world. I wish you great work and success in this expo.
各位嘉宾，各位中国国际进口博览会参展企业家和青年朋友们、女士们、先生们，大家下午好。经过各方的努力，截止今天上午，共有41个国家和地区72名青年和企业家加入了国际民防进博青年志愿者 SDGs 行动联盟。在此，我代表国际民防进博青年 SDG 行动联盟主席团宣布，国际民防进博青年 SDGs 行动联盟正式成立。国际民防协调署是第5届中国国际进口博览会展览合作伙伴。我衷心希望联盟成立后一定要坚持以国家会展中心中国国际进口博览会为平台，创新新时代防灾减灾和人道主义救援的国际交流与合作，努力践行构建人类共同抵御灾害的命运共同体，为世界和平、社会安定、经济发展、文化融合做出贡献。谢谢各位。国际民防进博青年 SDGs 行动联盟主席团2022年11月9日。
尊敬的各位领导、各位嘉宾代表、中国国际进口博览会参展企业家和青年朋友们、女士们、先生们，大家下午好。今天非常高兴可以代表联合国工业发展组织全球创新网络项目全球青年就业创业促进中心与国际民防协调署联合发起国际民防进博青年志愿者 SDG 行动的倡议，对各位出席今天启动仪式表示热烈的欢迎和衷心的感谢。公发组织全球创新网络项目是在2016年为落实联合国可持续发展目标，推进全球工业包容性发展，公发组织与中国政府签署的正式项目。项目的主要任务是打造集全球科技创新大会、治理资源、国际合作、产业发展、金融支撑、公共服务于一体的综合创新平台，为中小企业的发展和创新提供服务，以促进中国 乃至全球经济的可持续发展。2021年，我们为促进全球青年人才建设工作，在我们全球创新网络项目框架下，设立了全球青年就业创业促进中心，为青年人才提供发展与创新的机会。当下，人类正面临着全球的气候变化、环境的污染、生物多样性减少、世界疫情等多重危机。在这个历史性的关键时刻，我们更需要团结一心，凝聚力量，保护生命，捍卫共同的人类生命的尊严，保护环境，捍卫地球的环境与生物多样性，保护文化，捍卫我们世界的多元文化共存。青年是国家的未来，是民族的希望。青年的积极参与对全世界的和平与发展至关重要。我们希望为2021年9月习近平主席在联合国大会上提出的全球发展倡议做出行动，为落实联合国2030年可持续发展议程汇集最广泛的力量。我们立足进博会平台，联合世界各地不同领域的青年领袖，以加强全球青年的对话与合作，世界文明的交流与互鉴，推动国际社会和平的发展，构建人类命运共同体，而贡献青年力量。相信在大家的共同努力合作下，我们的明天会更好。最后，再次感谢各位嘉宾参与本次国际民防进博青年志愿者 SDGs 行动启动仪式。我祝愿本次活动取得圆满成功，谢谢。
我是上海八老头的讲师头创始头长，现在是八老头终身荣誉头长。我仅代表八老头600多位老干部、老将军、老五军、老某、老科学家、老教育家，向国际民防协调署进博会青年 SDGs 行动联盟同志们、亲人们表示你的祝福，并祝我们的进博会有谋成功。谢谢大家。
好，女士们、先生们、朋友们，世界瞩目上海，上海拥抱世界。如约而至的第5届进博会，成为中国和世界双向奔赴的盛大节日和璀璨舞台。由国际民防协调署主办的进博青年在行动今天揭开了帷幕。这一活动愿景是立足进博会平台，以中国青年引领，联合世界各界青年领袖，倡导保护生命，捍卫人类生命的尊严，倡导保护环境，捍卫地球环境的原生态，倡导保护文化，捍卫世界多元文化共存，从而凝聚各国青年投身三保护的崇高事业，做文化交流的忠实传播者，做文明互鉴的有力推动者，做开放合作的积极践行者。使命光荣，意义深远。道途且长， 行者将至，行而不辍，未来可期。期待未来，中外青年朋友凝心聚力，勇于向前，为构建人类命运共同体贡献青春力量。读不下去，谢谢大家。
Hello, my name is Mark Kay, and I am a professor of pediatrics and genetics at Stanford University. Let me explain a little bit about my background. After getting a bachelor's degree, I went on to get both an MD and a PhD because I wanted to use my scientific training in medicine to help make better treatments for individuals with serious medical conditions. So after my medical and scientific training, I went on to do a fellowship and residency in pediatrics with a subspecialty in genetic diseases and inborn errors of metabolism. And these represent very rare diseases, but many of them have very devastating outcomes. I moved on to the University of Washington as a faculty member, where I started my independent career, and then moved to Stanford in 1998. So let me just tell you a little bit about the kinds of work we do in the laboratory and how we use this information to advance into doing clinical trials, very new clinical trials. So my lab focuses in two areas. One is related to basic discovery about a class of genetic information that's called non-coding RNAs. It's thought that our genome that has all of our DNA, it's known that only a few % of the genome actually encodes for proteins that make up our skin, brain, liver, etc., etc. The rest of the genome, for years, the function hasn't been really uncovered. Much of the genome is transcribed into RNA molecules that for many years people didn't understand what they do. But even though they don't result in making proteins, they have significant functions in how other genes are regulated in the various tissues. And one of the things we try to do is understand what the function of some of these RNAs are and how their misexpression or abnormalities in how they're produced can result in disease states, and then try to intervene to treat diseases. And we usually start off in either cells that we grow in the laboratory dish or in small mammals such as mice. The second area that we work on is something called gene therapy or genome editing. And basically what we do is we take viruses that are not pathogenic, they don't lead to any disease at all, and we're able to trick the virus during its assembly period in the cells to, instead of taking up the genetic information that it normally takes up, its own viral genetic information, so that when it is released from the cell can infect another cell and propagate, we trick the viruses into taking up genes that are therapeutic. That may be a gene that's mutated in an individual, let's say with a genetic disease such as hemophilia or a blood clotting disorder where individuals, their blood is unable to clot. If they get an injury, they can actually bleed to death. So what we do is we trick the viruses, and we call these vectors now, into taking up the appropriate genetic information that, if they can get into the appropriate cells, can now restore the production, let's say, of this clotting factor. And this is what's called gene therapy, because we're using the vector now when we put it into the body to transmit the genetic information into the right cells so that the protein is now being made, which in an individual with a genetic disease doesn't happen. And we can also then put genetic information into these vectors that will go in and fix a mutation in a specific site of the genome. And this is quite remarkable, thinking that the human genome has 3 billion different base pairs of genetic code, all made up of different combinations of what we call A, G, C, and T. But within those 3 billion base pairs, we can detect where the mutation is leading to the disease. And then we can take the genetic information into the vector in a certain way that it goes in and it fixes that specific site that may be mutated in such an individual. So I hope I've given you a little bit of background into the types of things we do. And I hope that you all end up having illustrious and successful careers. And of course, what's most important is you choose and do something that gives you happiness and satisfaction. Thank you.
Hello from Paris, France. I'm Michel Gouzatz. I'm the owner of a French niche perfume brand, Le Jardin Retrouvé, Les Juan de Way, and a marketing professor in business schools. I'm very happy to welcome you all and wish you an excellent Shanghai International Import Expo. I would very much like to be in Shanghai and hope to come again soon. As a fragrance brand, we have strong sustainable development issues. We are convinced, and that is one of our leading vision, that we need to defend the planet, and that this is why our brand has, from the very beginning, when it was created in 1975 by my father, who was a master perfumer, used only refillable bottles because we want to fight waste. Our customers can also buy them in upcycled textile pouches and not in packaging that they will throw away. We strive to have clean fragrances with the very best ingredients. We use only organic alcohol for our fragrances. These are all small steps that we take to make sure that we are in line with the defense of the planet and with sustainable growth. Our team is a young team. They are all around 25. They are the future of the planet. And it is very important for us that all young people worldwide organize and bind themselves as a global network to defend the planet and to make sure that we leave a better planet to our children. So I wish you again a wonderful expo, and thank you very much for listening to my few words.
Weather is in the news more than ever these days. Climate change, man-made climate change seems to be the blame. What's the problem? It's something that people did over decades and centuries to put us in this position where hurricanes, drought, flood are worse than ever, more damaging, more lives lost, more communities devastated, and the future is bleaker than ever if you believe the science. And many believe that the science is correct. So why is it that when you ask someone to speak on this topic, very often it's boring? Even with this dramatic news, people don't care when you speak about it, very often. My name is Larry Schuster. I'm with the storytelling company in Shanghai. I'm a speech coach to help people solve this problem. And recently, I was at a class in Shanghai of teenagers to address this problem, how to speak in a way that people would care. And so we did an experiment. I said, suppose I tell you that sea levels, right, in the ocean are rising this much each year, and then next year is more and more, and the predictions are terrible. Suppose I tell you that. What will you feel? And two girls came up and they said, we don't care. We can't feel it. Okay, all right, let's make this much more dramatic. Suppose I say, in your lifetime, speaking to that class, right? In your lifetime, the sea levels will be so high, the city of Shanghai will be underwater. Then how would you feel? And the same two girls, they came forward, they said, no big deal. If it's wet in Shanghai, we'll just move to a dry place. There's nothing else, right? We can't control the weather. That's what they said. So, again, don't care. And then a third thing happened. Unexpected. A boy in the class, teenage boy in the class, he came up and he said, wait a minute. I live in Shanghai. My family, our home is in Shanghai. I've always lived in Shanghai. I was born here. And so it's my family, my relatives, my school, my future work. My parents live in Shanghai. If everything's underwater, then what is there? And then he went further. He said, that's why I care. But I also care that the rest of the world will be affected too, because after all, Shanghai is a global financial center. So we're all intermingled, connected, and tangled together in both business and personal life. And he was right. How about that? A story that personally connected to the speaker, and you could see he had conviction. Even though he was just a teenager, he already had some feelings about this. He was very clear about it. It mattered to him. And then it would have a bigger impact on the audience if the audience can appreciate that the speaker is really engaged in this problem. It's not just facts and figures. It's not just another speech. This is about the future of his life and his family's life and so on. Now, one other thing that's the problem with this scenario is he feels that way. That's great. Now, but the future is expected to be even bleaker than it is right now, because right now Shanghai is relatively dry and we're very comfortable here. So how do you talk about a problem that's not exactly here, but all predictions are saying that it's coming, that we will really have something to worry about, and we need to plan now. At least those people who can make a difference in policy and business and so forth. Well, create a story about what life would be like if in fact that day came, which is likely to happen, where this is a difficult problem and it's a life-changing problem. So a lot of times in the environment, it's not happening yet, but as you can see from the news around the world, it's happening to a lot of places more and more often and with more devastating effect. So, the solution when it comes to speaking is speak in a way that people know you care. That means they can feel your emotions, and then there's a chance that they would care. And how do you do that? Tell a story with some details that people can feel, and those details are vivid enough, they'll never forget them. And that's how you do it. So, emotion sells. They sell cars. They sell. A lot of business deals are happening because of emotions. People just want something, or they don't want something, whatever it is, but its emotion moves the world. So tell the right story in the right time, and maybe together we, the community of Shanghai and surrounding parts of the world, can also wake up that this is really a problem that's affecting real people, including you and me and everyone in this audience, we have one planet. Maybe isn't it time to have a story that can make a difference? This is Larry Schuster with the Storytelling Company in Shanghai.
Hello, greetings from Shanghai. I'm very pleased to see that CIE Youth is taking the mantle in promoting and protecting the human civilization and the environment. So I would like to wish them a very great success in the upcoming 5th China International Import Expo. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Robert Vicencio and I'm from Sydney, Australia. And number one, I truly believe in protecting the environment, protecting people, and of course protecting culture. And I do believe the people and team that can do that is the CIIE Youth Team. I wish them the very best on their journey ahead. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Botagoz Yelshibek. I'm from Kazakhstan. Right now I'm in Shanghai. As a youth representative, I believe in SDGs goals and also believe that development should balance social, economic, and environmental sustainability. I wish all the best to CIE Youth Team. Thank you. Bye bye.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Tiffany， 非常荣幸能结识国际民防世博青年这一群非常优秀、充满着热情、能力出类拔萃的青年伙伴们。作为一个地球公民，我非常能够体会，在人与人之间真的没有所谓的你我他的区分，我们都在为了人类命运共同体一同的奋斗，一同的贡献出我们的力量，甚至于可以涵括到全生物种类的命运共同体。希望在这个地球上，我们的一步一脚印是铺垫了更好的明天，同时也传承了美丽的文化，而这样子的未来只能由你我去创造。在此透过视频的方式送上我的祝福，也期许我们共勉之，加油！
Hi, I'm Sylvia. I'm from China and Italy, and I just want to say that any kind of work contributing towards achieving the SDG goals is extremely important for not just our generation, but our future generations. The environment is one of the most important causes that we can contribute our time to, as it concerns everyone. And we are definitely in a time where work going towards especially climate change is becoming more and more urgent. So if the youth can dedicate their voices and their time and help others educate themselves in how to help this crisis, I think that's the most inspirational thing. So I just want to say good luck to all participants, anyone contributing their time and effort. You're doing great and you're creating great impact for our future generations. So good luck!
大家好，我是英国书画艺术研究院院长、世博全球青年峰会副秘书长安琪。我目前居住在北京。SDGs 是实现所有人更美好和更可持续未来的蓝图。中国已成为以负责任态度推动全球治理的典范，为全球治理贡献中国智慧。最后，祝福我们进博青年活动取得圆满成功。
大家好，我是李欣，我现在在捷克布拉格。祝福我们今年的进博会取得圆满的成功，也祝福我们越来越多的青年能加入到我们进博青年当中，投身于 SDGs 的事业当中，让我们一起保护环境，保护我们人类共同生存的家园。谢谢。
大家好，我是世界拳击冠军李阳，我目前居住在北京。SDGs 是实现所有人更美好和更可持续未来的蓝图。中国已成为以负责任的态度推动全球治理典范，为全球治理贡献中国智慧。最后，祝福我们的进博青年活动取得圆满成功。
Hello， 大家好， 我是北京大学政府管理学院博士研究生，世博全球青年峰会副秘书长谭成。非常荣幸能够参加此次国际民防进博青年活动，助力可持续发展，拥抱人类美好的未来，汇聚青年力量，与你同行，与我同行。最后，祝此次活动圆满成功。谢谢大家。
大家好，我叫刘子毅，来自同济大学。祝愿进博青年影响越来越大，活动越办越好，让越来越多的青年加入参与进来。谢谢。